Greetings. Welcome back to the Spirit Walker channel. I hope you're well. It's good to be back here with you guys. Are you tired of being a light worker? Always waiting for Ascension, always waiting for the reset or whatever it is. And these things never happen. Because it really feels like we have been on a state of perpetual waiting. So every month someone comes along and says that, well, next month we are going to have the financial reset, the total financial reset. And I have been hearing this for the past 6 years. Also, you see things like, Nibiru. Nibiru is going to start the redemption of humanity, and it's going to happen next year. Again, I've been hearing this type of prediction for decades, and nothing has happened. So sometimes it really starts to tire a little bit. So you start thinking, hang on a second, what is really happening? So the purpose of this video is exactly to show us and to let us all agree and understand that a huge amount has already happened. Maybe we haven't seen the big one yet. Maybe we haven't seen the total change in humanity, but that's quite a lot that has already happened, and it's clearly showing that the victory of the light is really at hand, and we can't doubt it. So I compiled a total of 11 reasons why this is really clear, and we are going to go through these reasons now. So the first one that I would like to discuss is that the powerful members of the Cabal, they seem to be fading away. So you saw the death of David Rockefeller. I think it was earlier this year, might have been last year, but it doesn't really matter. He's gone, his power is gone, and he's not going to be missed. You also have this strange story, this very strange story that Jacob Rothschild may have been one of the victims of a plane crash, of a plane that collided with a helicopter on top of the Rothschild estate. And even if he faked his own death, the family is not giving the names of the people that died, and this is really very, very strange. But even if he faked his own death in order to escape punishment, which will be forthcoming, even that is a victory. I'm not happy because people have died. I'm happy because their influence has gone. Number two is the fact that cryptocurrencies are an alternative to fiat money. We all know that fiat money is a way, so fractional reserving is a way for the big bankers to control what we do and how we live. And it's instead of living in cages, we live in debt. But the slavery and the serfdom is exactly the same. So Bitcoin and all of the other cryptocurrencies, they are a challenge to this status quo. Now, yes, of course, Bitcoin currently is a bubble, and maybe by the time that you watch this video, the Bitcoin bubble will be history. Will have corrected already, but there's no denying that cryptocurrencies are here to stay, and they are the future. Now, number 3 is the slow burn of the Luciferian elite. You know that the Luciferian elite has a lot to answer in terms of crimes, in terms of pedophilia, in terms of harassment. And what we are seeing recently is a slow burn. So what does that mean? It means that the Luciferian Cabal is seeing that their time is up, and in order to buy time, they started to burn people that they consider expendable. So, for example, the Harvey Weinstein saga, Kevin Spacey, that creep Jimmy Savile in the UK, and also Bill Cosby. So all of these guys have been outed as people that have done some seriously wrong things, and the Cabal is letting these guys burn because this will buy them time. And this is a sign that they are really losing power because they don't have control over this type of information anymore. There is also, number 4, there is also a backlash against the New World Order. So we saw this with the election of Trump, which was not favored by the Cabal, and we also saw this in the Brexit vote in the UK. So the UK did themselves a favor and decided to leave the European Union, which is a prison. And we also see all sorts of other types of Brexit-like movements. Say, for example, in Spain, Catalonia is seeking to get out of the union with Spain. So people are deciding to say, no, we want to tell our governments how to run the countries. It's not going to be bureaucrats in Brussels, it's going to be us. So this is a very strong message that the New World Order is finally crumbling. It's facing an uphill battle and it's not going to work. Now, number 5 is all shocks fail to destabilize the global economy. We have had the 2001 dot-com bubble. That was a serious bubble, and it placed the United States and Western Europe in recession. But they're all recovered. We had the 2008 financial crisis, the global financial crisis that burst most of the American and European banks, and Australian banks almost went under as well. And that was another attempt by the Cabal to completely destabilize the global economy just so they could come in as saviors and impose the New World Order. The 2010 European debt crisis with Greece, Portugal, Ireland, and Spain also was another attempt that failed. So humanity has been able to navigate these shocks that have been engineered by the Cabal really very well. So yes, it hurts, people lose jobs, but we have not reached a stable of total chaos, which is what the Cabal has in mind in planning these crises. So number 6 is related to that, but it's actually quite stronger, and it's all the false flags fail to collapse the social order. So the World War I, the First World War, was started with the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, and that was a false flag attack. That was an attempt by the Illuminati to start a massive war, which it did. So that pushed into World War I and World War II, but then humanity came back. Humanity rediscovered itself as a peaceful humanity. 9/11, as you're watching in your screen now, was also another false flag with a view to start a massive war between the West and the Arab nations. And the Cabal went there, went to Kuwait, went to Iraq, started a war, but humanity held on fast, and this Third World War has not started. Number 7 is that all nukes have been disarmed by ETs. Maybe not all nukes, but the nukes that were close to being deployed, they have been disarmed by ETs. So, for example, it's very there's quite a lot of research that shows you that, for example, in the Cuban Missile Crisis, we did have assistance from non-terrestrial beings in disarming and cooling things down, and there have been several occasions where the clock was 2 minutes to midnight and we were very close to annihilation, and ETs intervened and disarmed the nukes. So military intelligence is obviously an oxymoron, but it shows you that there have been instances where nukes have been disarmed, and it was just a show of force by ETs, saying, we're not going to let you destroy this planet, not this time around. Number 8 is the invasion by Lightworks and Wanderers. The law of one, to the extent that you believe in the law of one, you may or may not. The law of one suggested that in the 80s we already had 60 million wanderers. Most likely these days, in 2017, we would have something like 300 million wanderers. And if you also see the books by Dolores Cannon, you see that the invasion of light workers, including indigo children, this has been indigo children and crystal children, this has been a massive assistance to Earth and has lightened up the atmosphere, and this is one of the reasons why this planet is going into fourth density positive. Number 9 is that the change in US leadership. The United States is the leader of the free world. So whatever happens in the US is of a lot of importance to pretty much every person on the planet. So we have had people that have followed the Cabal, people that have worked for the Cabal, all of these 5 guys there, they have followed the Cabal. The people knew that when people got tired of the Republicans pushing the agenda of the New World Order, the same agenda would be pushed by Democrats such as Clinton and Obama, and these guys have been in power, have been doing the Cabal's bidding. But what happened with in the recent election is that Hillary Clinton was scheduled to take power. This was already, people were already talking about this. Kathy O'Brien talks about this many years ago. Hillary will win the next election because that's what the Cabal wants. And what happened? She didn't. So whether you like Trump or not, this represents a break with the Cabal stooges. Number 10 is that the Cabal plans are currently discussed openly and they are rejected. So you have people such as the brave Kathy O'Brien, that she is a victim of mind control. So she has been in these military programs where they control your mind and they start with you very early in your as a child. So they rape you, they torture, they kill people in front of you in order to create that dissociative conscience and split your mind in several different alters. And Kathy O'Brien, I believe since the 90s, she was already discussing this as a former victim. And she was already openly discussing all of the plans from the Cabal and pretty much anything that they wanted to do and how they did it, including with the cooperation of the military. Now, this means that their power to influence the world has diminished by quite a large margin, because they can't control this disclosure anymore. And number 11, which is the final one, is that there is a cleansing process of Earth's astral realms. Now, the materialists are going to say, well, this is just made up, etc. But you can't deny all of the other 10 ones, even if you don't believe in ETs, even if you don't believe in the Cabal. You can't really deny that these 10 first ones, they are verifiable. The 11th one is a different one because it requires clairvoyance for you to understand what's happening, and clairsentience for you to understand what's happening. So not everybody's going to accept this one. But since the 70s, there has been a very strong push to cleanse the astral, the lower astral of the Earth. What happens is that around the Earth, around the physical Earth, there is a region that it's full of very heavy energy, and that's the region where the demonic beings, which are not really demons, they are just our brothers and sisters that have made really bad decisions with their lives, and they are now incurring the karma and going through that purification process that comes with suffering. So they are stuck in the lower astral, and sometimes, depending on their state of development of consciousness, they can come out and influence people. So this is what we see with entity possessions, entity attachments, and things like visitations and poltergeist type of phenomenon by spirits that are in agony, in pain. But these astral regions are being cleansed. The spirits are being taken away to another place, and this has been happening since the 70s, and the energies themselves are being cleansed. So Earth is becoming lighter and more purified, and I'm happy to discuss this with you in more detail. If you so wish, just send me an email and we could discuss this, and I could put a video out in more detail about this. So this is it. So don't be discouraged. There is a lot happening. There's no point in you always looking at the next month to see if there is going to be anything big at all, because the change is already here. So thank you very much for watching. I wish you a blessed day, and see you next time.